Welcome to AIM, a program which rapidly accelerates second language acquisition. If you use this program correctly, your students will be able to achieve very good levels of oral and written fluency. In this program, you will learn how drama, music, dance, creative writing, and an inductive approach to the teaching of grammar will motivate your students and help them to be successful second language learners. Your classroom should be a noisy place where active learning is of primary importance. AIM is the Accelerative Integrated Method. It's a way of helping children learn to speak a second language rapidly. It helps them gain a lot of confidence and competence in the language at a very early stage in their language acquisition. It's not a thematic approach. It's actually an arts-based approach and literacy-based approach where we use stories, theater, drama, dance, and music to help children become emotionally engaged in language learning.
You have the visual, you have the kinesthetic, you have the oral. It's working on everything. So if they don't manage to get something one way, then they usually manage to acquire that skill another.
Right away I would use the word action because the class we use gestures, we use music, we dance. It's not boring.
If I had to choose, one thing that distinguishes AIM classrooms from more typical core French classrooms, it's the level of emotional investment that kids have in the process and the fun that they're having, and again, that's fuel that drives the learning process.
I just can't say how pleased I am with the pride and happiness I see from teachers when they come to tell me how actually the program has transformed their lives in some cases.
My experience before AIM was that there wasn't a lot of French in the classroom at all. The kids weren't functioning in French. When I introduced AIM, it was completely different from day one.
Honestly, it's reinvented me as a French teacher. I feel that I'm doing something successful and important and achieving levels of spoken and written French that I would have never dreamed possible.
And that's what keeps us going, I think, as French teachers. When I see successes like that, it just fuels you and you just want to keep on going with it, definitely.
The response that you get from the children right off the bat and the enthusiasm that they have while you're teaching them is totally priceless. I couldn't imagine, I wouldn't ever teach French with any other method.
My teachers teaching the AIM approach are happy. I haven't heard a teacher say that they don't like to use this approach. They don't want to use this approach. Out of 80-something teachers, that's incredible.
We were the first board in Ontario to adopt AIM board-wide, and I would highly recommend adopting this program because it addresses so many of the current issues in French. It addresses the issue of building fluency. It addresses the issue of student engagement and motivation, and it also addresses the issue of long-term planning. In other words, having a plan that can span over multiple grades and meet multiple needs.
Jamais! La reine s'évanouit, Marc l'attrape dans ses bras et appelle le lutin.
So every time you involve those kids in the kinds of learning you're doing, those kids are part of the research paradigm that we follow in education. So I'm excited that we have a program based on solid research.
The parents sit open-mouthed and they cannot believe the amount of French these children are speaking. I had one parent say to me in September, I would never have believed it if I hadn't seen it with my own eyes.
There is no question in my mind that I would recommend this program to any French teacher, especially any French teacher who's trying to deal with behavior problems in a class or motivation problems in a classroom. This is your answer.
So I was going to retire. And because teaching French can be at times just like pulling teeth. But with this program, I'm having so much fun that I have extended my retirement 3 years.
We have other teachers asking to see if they could be part of this program because they are seeing it in their own schools, that it is so successful that the teachers and the students are so happy. So this is what's going on with Histoire en Action. We don't need to promote the program at all. It promotes itself.
In talking to teachers and consultants and people I know in education, they all support your program, and they are sometimes thrilled by it when they see the involvement of those kids and those teachers. Even those who doubt at first come around very quickly when they see it in action.
Bonjour tout le monde. Maintenant la classe de français commence.
If you walked into a typical AIM classroom, it would be a very noisy place. Each word is associated with a gesture, and there's no need for translation at all. They're actually understanding the language as the teacher gestures for them to speak.
The gesture approach uses gesture to convey meaning. It's as simple as that. For example, mange or bois.
Qui habite à Winnipeg?
And I was particularly struck by the comment that one student made who said, when I first was learning French, it was a lot of different sounds and I really didn't know what it meant. But now I find that through gestures, I have a picture in my mind and therefore I'm able to see what I'm saying.
You'll see them use gesture to recall a word, which is amazing.
I had French at my old school, but I don't remember exactly what we did. It's just basically the teacher was talking to us and we just had to listen. But I think the AIM program helps us more because everything is reinforced with gestures. I think I'm learning faster in the AIM program because they have more efficient ways of teaching French, like gestures instead of cards that we used in the old program.
Il y a 5 personnes dans ma famille, mais je pense que mon frère est un animal. Oui. Moi aussi.
They are able to produce sentences more naturally and expand their speaking to talk about their own experiences past the actual program. And that is not achieved through teaching vocabulary by theme.
Est-ce que tu regardes la vidéo Harry Potter?
Oui. Non. Oui, je regarde la vidéo de Harry Potter. Oui, cet week-end. Oui. J'aime de Hermione parce qu'elle est très belle.
Je déteste.
It is essential that during the initial stages of language acquisition, the children be provided with very important vocabulary.
So you've got to provide them with the means to express things that are relevant to their lives. So if we focus in on high-frequency words and high-frequency expressions, that's truly communicative.
They can actually communicate very quickly because they haven't spent a lot of time learning nouns they don't use frequently and wasting their time conjugating verbs that they are barely going to use.
On travaille avec les infinitifs.
What are the most important words in a language? How do we put them together? We're using them in everyday context. I don't need to know what a poisson ange is when I cannot even say ça va bien.
Je cherche.
Je veux chercher.
Je ferme.
Je veux fermer.
Now, the teacher is also gesturing other elements of the language, not just word meaning associations, but also syntax and grammar as well.
What's nice with this program is that the children don't realize that they're learning grammar.
I actually learned the gestures very quickly, and really you only need to stay a few gestures ahead of your class.
Some of my favorite accents are populaire.
One of my favorite is fantastique.
Some of my favorite gestures are rap, content, et tombe.
Since I've begun AIM, there's no question that I'm seeing a lot more fluency. They can speak and pronounce these words beautifully, and it doesn't matter what level student we're talking about.
Fantastique, Jennifer.
It has been very successful for my students who have education plans, who have learning difficulties, all of a sudden are no longer apart from the group in terms of their ability. They participate and they acquire the same skills.
As the children build their repertoire, their vocabulary of gestures, it allows the teacher to then use these gestures in a structured manner based on the play or other activities, or in a spontaneous manner as he or she simply communicates to the children through the gestures.
Je n'ai pas de crayon.
Excellent. Well, I think gestures are great for shy kids. With gesture, everyone is speaking.
The no English rule is sacred. It's absolutely sacred.
My class only speaks in French during class time. I only teach in French. That gestures are an essential part of it, obviously.
It's a joy as a teacher to see a student saying something they did not know they had the ability to say. And it's acquired and it's embedded because of the pleasant repetition, which is an integral part of this program.
Last week, one core French teacher asked me if it was a French immersion classroom. I said, no, we do 35 to 40 minutes a day. This is core French.
And I've been doing it for 2 years, and now I understand not only the gestures, but also the words that go along with them.
And French as a whole.
Yeah.
I understand it, and it's fun.
Children are starting to take this out of the classroom and are having fun with it in their own lives. And that's something that we've never experienced before.
I like doing them a lot. Sometimes at night when I can't get to sleep, I actually do the actions. And I start laughing so hard, my mom's like, "Why are you awake?" And it's so funny.
Je ne suis pas vraiment un garçon qui montre ses muscles. Je n'ai pas de gros muscles.
The play is used as the basis for an entire unit, and the teacher practices this play with the whole class, especially at the beginning stages of the program, a great deal.
I said, "Voici l'histoire des trois petits cochons." I had one student in the class say, "Oh, that's the story of the 3 little pigs." And I knew I had him from that moment because they knew the story.
Je souffle tellement fort que ta maison va tomber.
By the use of stories with which children are already familiar in their mother tongue, it allows a solid base upon which students can build and acquire new vocabulary. And so automatically students have a sense of comfort.
I think that the plays are funny and they're fun to do.
Maintenant, on peut s'échapper. On peut aller à Paris.
Oui, j'aime. Je veux manger des escargots et des baguettes.
Oui, je veux voir le Louvre.
By using drama, we allow children to become someone other than themselves. They can enter the role of another character and use and speak the language in the voice of that character. And in doing so, the children become more confident, more spontaneous.
Oh, merci, Monsieur Lyon. Merci.
He was a type of little boy that was extremely shy, didn't want to really participate a whole lot. And last year, when I started this program, within 2 weeks, he started wanting to participate.
Quand est-ce que tu veux jouer?
Je veux jouer aujourd'hui, à 5 heures.
Pas de problème, Francine. Merci. Oh, no.
This program offers kids who are frustrated with regular school-type situations with an interactive, physically active model, and they can't lose. They see themselves suddenly normal in this program. We are part of it.
Last year, in grade 5, I played Zigomar and Zigzag Zoog. It's funny.
We lose ourselves in the dialogue. We're working collaboratively with others, and the inhibitions goes.
Oh, je suis tellement occupée.
Imagine learning without emotion. Imagine learning when you don't care or aren't involved in your spirit and your soul and your heart as well.
C'est dommage, mais merci quand même.
Oh, je suis tellement excitée. Qu'est-ce que c'est?
De l'eau. Well, for years we've wanted drama to be part of all other subjects because the kids are not just role-playing, they're reading aloud, they're scripting, they're participating using their hands, lots of mime work. They are participants, they are spectator actors in this role. So I'm really excited that part of the arts is involved in the second language learning.
When the children are learning a play and they're entering into the role of the character, they become much less inhibited to use the second language.
They just get up and they pretend to be a cat and they're speaking and they don't even realize half the time that they're doing it in French.
Oh, secours! La lune est tombée dans l'eau.
It's important that we take this story as the starting point for a wide range of other activities, including working creatively with story.
They start with very simple things like phrases bizarres, where they make up a silly sentence that has to do with the play. And then from that, they can go on more and more to the point where they're actually doing creative writing, writing a story or a play themselves.
They're reading stories, they're acting out stories, they're becoming involved, they see themselves in the stories, they're having fun with the stories. They're also enabled to be creative with the language at a much earlier stage.
Son chapeau en rouge a marché dans la forêt. Elle a joué avec des jolis animaux.
We take our time, we go in depth with that one play. So what's so nice about that is we can do so many written activities progressively, from the easy ones to the more difficult ones. And in grade 1, we have students that do 20, 30, 40, 50 questions based on this play, written questions. And so when a parent sees this and the student brings their folder home at the end of the term for their parent presentation, the parents are amazed.
It's really a highlight of the day for the children to work in their small groups and practice and enjoy acting out with each other. Sometimes the boys take the girls' roles and the girls take the boys' roles, and they have a lot of fun. A great deal of time is focused on IPG work. So the IPG work is one area where the children work in partners or in small groups.
They do many things in groups. They could practice the play, they could tell the play in their own words, they could also work on their written activity with groups.
Writing the answers to questions also helps, because then when you're talking or writing a story in French, then you know how to use the words. I play puzzle. Marie donne un bateau devant la maison de père.
Teachers are amazed when they observe AIM classes how much students write. So they learn how to write creatively in this program and bring their own ideas.
It's amazing, and their stories are displayed around the school, and my principal is very happy, and the other teachers, of course. It's wonderful. I love doing the creative writing with them.
Ta grand-mère. Parce que c'est la grand-mère de Chaperon Rouge et la mère part à Chaperon Rouge. Alors c'est ta grand-mère.
Well, we have nice conversations with our friends, and we don't just have to memorize plays and speak just when the teacher asks us a question.
Tout à coup, il voit quelqu'un qui conduit un bateau. C'est un capitaine, Marie dit.
It's a very involved program, and the children all take part in helping each other learn French.
The children who are weak or who are shy or who have difficulties are always supported by others around them.
They're working with their peers and helping each other out. So you have strong students paired up with maybe students who are a little bit weaker in the language, and it all just comes together. It's all cooperative, and another just strong point about the program.
When kids are working alongside each other in reading and writing and talking in any language, they can learn twice as much. They're part of the meaning making.
The music and dance component of the program is a very important component. The songs themselves help them to acquire the language, not only those with musical intelligence, but everyone.
Every play that you teach the students is accompanied by a song or two, and every song has a dance routine, a choreography. So again, we are not just sitting in our desks, filling in worksheets. We are getting up, we're moving. The kids love to practice the dance.
Qu'est-ce que tu fais? Qu'est-ce que tu fais? Où est-ce
When they are dancing their little hearts out to the song, I don't know if at that moment they forget they're learning, but the point is they are learning and they're having oodles of fun.
They learn singing. Children produce their own raps and produce their own dance moves to those raps in this program.
Just like if you sing something, then you can remember it better.
They'll watch that song a few times and then they'll get up and they'll sing it and they'll do the dance, and they really have an idea of what their goal is based on the fact that they've already seen other children enjoying doing it.
On doit parler seulement en français, mais si quelqu'un parle en anglais, cette personne n'a pas de carte, et ça c'est vrai, ça c'est dommage, mais on espère aussi que tout le monde essaie d'aider ses amis.
All our grammar rules have a grammar rap that accompany them. It's crazy in a classroom, and they're screaming grammar. I mean, that never normally happens in a traditional core French classroom.